The wind howled softly through the trees as Sarah sat on her porch, staring into the distance. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting golden rays across the field where she and her best friend Jake used to play. It had been months since he moved away, and every day felt heavier without him. The laughter they shared echoed in her mind, but now it was just a reminder of the distance that separated them. Sarah picked up her phone, scrolling through her messages. She had typed a message to Jake multiple times, but always hesitated before hitting send. What could she say that would bridge the gap? She missed him more than words could express, but the fear of rejection held her back. Would he even want to hear from her? Would their friendship still matter after all this time apart? The memories flooded back. The summer days spent exploring the woods, the late-night talks about dreams and fears, and the way they could always rely on each other. Sarah sighed, feeling a weight in her chest. She wanted to reconnect, to feel that bond again, but the thought of reaching out made her anxious. What if he had moved on? As night fell, Sarah grabbed her jacket and decided to take a walk to clear her mind. The cool air felt refreshing against her skin, but the emptiness inside her remained. She walked to their favorite spot by the old oak tree, where they had shared countless secrets and dreams. Leaning against the rough bark, she closed her eyes and imagined Jake's voice, his laughter echoing in the stillness. "Take shelter in me, human," she whispered to the night sky, remembering how Jake had always been her safe haven. He understood her in a way no one else did. She wished she could feel that comfort again, but without him nearby, she felt lost. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's sadness deepened. She often found herself daydreaming about Jake, wishing he could return. She thought about how much they had promised to stay in touch, to keep their friendship alive, no matter the distance. But as the weeks passed, it became harder to reach out. Each day felt like a reminder of what she had lost. One afternoon, while sitting in her room, Sarah decided enough was enough. She opened her laptop and began to write an email to Jake. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitant. But she took a deep breath and began to type. "Hey Jake," she wrote. "I know it's been a while, and I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. I miss you. I hope you're doing well." As she hit send, a wave of relief washed over her. It was a small step, but it felt significant. She had taken the initiative to reconnect, and that was a victory in itself. But as the days passed, she anxiously checked her email, hoping for a reply. Each time she saw an empty inbox, her heart sank a little more. Finally, one evening, as the sun began to set, her phone buzzed with a notification. It was an email from Jake. Heart racing, she opened it, her eyes quickly scanning the words. "Hey Sarah," he wrote. "I'm so glad to hear from you. I've missed you too. Things are different here, but I think about our adventures often. I'd love to catch up. Let's set up a video call." Tears of joy filled Sarah's eyes. She felt a spark of hope ignite within her. They could reconnect, share their lives again, and maybe even bridge the distance that had grown between them. She quickly replied, suggesting a time for their call. The thought of seeing his face made her heart race. The day of the video call arrived, and Sarah could barely contain her excitement. She set up her laptop in her room, adjusting the angle so she could see him clearly. When the call connected, Jake's face appeared on the screen, and for a moment it felt as if no time had passed at all. "Sarah," he exclaimed, a wide smile spreading across his face. "It's so good to see you." "Hi, Jake," she replied, her heart swelling with happiness. They talked for hours, catching up on everything they had missed. Jake shared stories about his new school and friends, while Sarah filled him in on her life back home. Laughter filled the air as they reminisced about their adventures, and the distance between them seemed to fade away. As they spoke, Sarah realized how much she had missed. That connection, it felt like coming home. Jake listened intently, offering support and encouragement just like he always had. She felt safe with him, as if no matter where they were in the universe, they would always find a way back to each other. As the call came to an end, Sarah felt a bittersweet tug at her heart. "I'm really glad we did this," she said, her voice softening. "I was afraid we would drift apart." "Never," Jake replied, his eyes shining with sincerity. "You mean too much to me. We'll always find a way to stay connected, no matter where life takes us." In that moment, Sarah felt a warmth spread through her. She had taken the leap to reach out, and it had brought them closer together. The distance that once felt insurmountable now seemed like just a small hurdle. "Take shelter in me, human," she whispered to herself, a smile breaking across her face. She knew that no matter how far apart they were, their bond would remain strong. Hope surged within her, and she finally felt she could face whatever challenges lay ahead. With Jake by her side, even the most distant stars felt within reach. The days after Sarah's video call with Jake were filled with a new sense of hope. They had rekindled their connection, and Sarah felt lighter. Yet, even as she smiled more often, a small ache remained in her heart. The distance between them still felt real, and she often worried about how their friendship would survive the challenges of being apart. School had started again, and Sarah found herself surrounded by friends, yet none of them could replace the bond she had with Jake. Her classmates talked about weekend plans and new games, but all Sarah could think about was how she wished Jake could be there to share in those moments. She missed their inside jokes and the way they could talk for hours without running out of things to say. One evening, as Sarah sat on her bed scrolling through pictures of their past adventures, she had an idea. Why not create something special that could help bridge the gap between them? She decided to make a scrapbook filled with memories of their time together. It would be a tangible reminder of their friendship, something they could both cherish. With excitement bubbling inside her, she gathered supplies: colored paper, markers, stickers, and of course, their photos. She carefully chose pictures from Fenton, their favorite moments playing at the park, building forts in her living room, and the time they had a picnic by the lake. Each photo brought back a rush of happiness. As she worked late into the night, Sarah felt like she was weaving their friendship into something beautiful. She wrote captions under each picture, capturing the joy and laughter they had shared. "Remember when we thought we could catch fireflies?" she wrote under a picture of them laughing in the dark. "We didn't catch any, but we caught a great memory." When the scrapbook was finally complete, Sarah held it in her hands, feeling proud. It was a piece of her heart, a reminder that even though they were apart, their friendship was still strong. She decided to send it to Jake as a surprise. It was a way to show him that she cared, even from a distance. The next day, she carefully packaged the scrapbook and headed to the post office. As she handed the package over to the clerk, a flutter of excitement filled her. She could hardly wait for Jake to see it. A few days later, Sarah received a text from Jake. Her heart raced as she opened it. "Hey, your package arrived, and I can't wait to open it." "Yay," she replied. "Let me know what you think." The anticipation built as she waited for his response. Finally, after what felt like hours, her phone buzzed again. "I just opened it. Sarah, it's amazing. I love all the memories you included. It feels like you're right here with me." Tears of joy filled Sarah's eyes. She felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had done something special, and it had made him happy. "I'm so glad you like it. I miss you so much." "I miss you too," he responded. "I've been thinking about our adventures a lot. We should plan a trip together when I visit next." The thought of seeing Jake again filled Sarah with excitement. Yes, Let's make it the best trip ever. As their conversation continued, Sarah felt a renewed sense of connection. They talked about their dreams and plans, sharing everything that had been happening in their lives. Even though they were miles apart, it felt like they were sitting side by side, just like old times. Weeks passed, and Sarah and Jake stayed in touch regularly. They scheduled video calls every weekend and exchanged messages throughout the week. Each conversation reminded Sarah of the strength of their friendship. They shared their fears and dreams, talked about school, and even played online games together. The distance didn't seem as daunting anymore. Still, there were moments when Sarah felt lonely. Sometimes she would see other friends hanging out with their best friends, and a pang of sadness would hit her. She wished Jake could be there to share in those experiences. But instead of letting the sadness overwhelm her, she focused on the joy of their friendship and the hope they shared for the future. One rainy afternoon, Sarah decided to take a walk to clear her mind. As she strolled through the neighborhood, she thought about Jake and the plans they were making for his upcoming visit. They had decided to go hiking and visit their favorite ice cream shop. The thought of spending time together filled her with excitement. As she walked, she spotted a beautiful park with blooming flowers. An idea struck H. The warm summer sun poured through Sarah's window, illuminating her room with a soft glow. It was a day filled with promise, but as she sat on her bed, the weight of longing settled in her heart. Jake had been visiting for a week, and their time together had flown by. Now, the reality of him returning to his new home loomed closer, and Sarah felt a familiar ache of sadness creeping back in. After their wonderful picnic, every moment spent with Jake felt special. They had explored their favorite places, shared stories, and laughed until their sides hurt. But now, as the countdown to his departure began, she felt a sense of dread. Would their friendship survive the distance again? Would things go back to how they were before? That evening, they sat on the porch, watching the stars twinkle above. The night was peaceful, but Sarah's heart was heavy. Jake glanced over at her, sensing her unease. "You okay, Sarah?" he asked softly. "Yeah, just thinking," she replied, trying to smile but failing. "I wish you didn't have to leave." Jake sighed, his expression serious. "I know. I wish I could stay here forever. But you know, distance doesn't have to mean the end of our friendship." "I hope so," Sarah said quietly, feeling a tear escape down her cheek. "It's just hard. I don't want to lose what we have." Jake reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "You won't lose me. We'll always find a way to stay connected. Remember the scrapbook? It made me feel like you were right there with me, even when I was far away." His words brought a flicker of hope to Sarah's heart. "I really loved making that for you. It felt like we were creating something together." "Exactly," Jake said, his eyes bright with enthusiasm. "What if we keep doing things like that? We could start a project together, even from a distance. Like a shared journal or a blog where we can write about our lives." Sarah's face lit up with excitement. "That sounds amazing. We could each write a chapter about our days, our adventures, and share pictures. It would be like our own story." "Exactly. We can call it The Adventures of Sarah and Jake. It'll be our way of staying connected, no matter how far apart we are," he suggested, grinning as they brainstormed ideas for their project. Sarah felt her worries begin to melt away. Their friendship was resilient, and they could make it work. She realized that as long as they both put in the effort, distance could not break the bond they shared. The next day, they began their shared journal. They took turns writing entries, sharing their thoughts and experiences. Sarah wrote about her summer adventures, her feelings about Jake's visit, and the little things that made her happy. Jake, in turn, shared stories about his new life, his school, and the friends he was making. They included drawings and photos, making each entry vibrant and full of life. As the days passed, their journal became a beautiful tapestry of their lives. They would read each other's entries during video calls, laughing and discussing their thoughts. Each new entry brought them closer together, bridging the gap created by distance. But as the week went on, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of sadness that crept in during quiet moments. The thought of saying goodbye loomed over her like a dark cloud. She wanted to enjoy their time together, but the end felt inevitable. On Jake's last night, they sat beneath the stars again, the air filled with the sounds of crickets. Sarah felt a lump in her throat. "I can't believe you're leaving tomorrow," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I know," Jake replied, looking up at the sky. "But think about all the stories we'll have to share in our journal. This isn't the end. It's just a new chapter." "I want to believe that," Sarah said, her heart aching. "But it's hard. I feel like a piece of me is missing when you're not here." Jake turned to her, his expression serious. "You're not losing a piece of yourself, Sarah. We're just expanding our story. You'll always have me in your heart, just like I have you in mine. No distance can change that." Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she nodded. "You're right. It's just, I wish I didn't have to say goodbye." Jake reached over and pulled her into a warm embrace. "Me too. But remember, every time we write in our journal, it's like we're having a conversation. We're still together in spirit." As they held each other tightly, Sarah felt a wave of comfort wash over her. She realized that while distance would always be a challenge, their friendship was strong enough to overcome it. They had shared their dreams, fears, and laughter, and those memories would always bind them together. The next morning arrived too quickly. Sarah helped Jake pack his things, feeling a mix of sadness and gratitude. They took a final walk around their neighborhood, visiting their favorite spots one last time. At the park, they sat on the swings, reminiscing about their childhood adventures. "Promise me something," Jake said, looking at her with sincerity. "No matter what happens, you'll always chase your dreams." "I believe in you, Sarah." "I promise," she replied, smiling through her tears. "And you have to do the same. You're going to do great things, Jake." As they reached the driveway, Sarah's heart raced. It was time to say goodbye. They stood facing each other, emotions swirling in the air. "This isn't goodbye forever," Jake said, his voice steady. "It's just a pause until our next chapter." "Take shelter in me, human," Sarah whispered, recalling the phrase they had joked about. "I'll always carry you with me." Jake smiled through his own tears. "And I'll always find my way back to you, no matter where life takes me." With one last hug, they stepped back, and Sarah watched as Jake got into the car. As it pulled away, her heart felt heavy, but a spark of hope remained. She knew that their friendship was resilient, built on love and shared experiences. That night, as she lay in bed, Sarah opened their journal. She flipped through the pages, smiling at the memories they had created together. She added a new entry, writing about their last day and the promise they made to each other. In her heart, she felt a shift. The ache of distance was still there, but it was accompanied by the knowledge that they were not truly apart. They were writing their story together, one chapter at a time. And with each word, each memory, their bond grew stronger. As she closed her eyes, Sarah whispered to the stars, "Take shelter in me, human." She knew that no matter the distance, their friendship would shine brightly, guiding them through every challenge ahead. The days turned into weeks, and Sarah felt the bittersweet weight of distance more acutely as time passed. Since Jake had returned to his new home, their communications had become a lifeline, keeping their friendship alive. They continued to write in their shared journal, but the physical absence of Jake was a constant reminder of what she missed. Each time Sarah opened their journal, she smiled at the memories they had created together. But after reading his latest entry about his new school and friends, she felt a pang of loneliness. Jake was moving forward in his life, and she couldn't help but wonder if he was forgetting about her. One afternoon, while sitting in her favorite spot in the park, she pulled out her phone and scrolled through their old pictures. She saw them laughing on the swings, covered in ice cream, and posing with their arms around each other. The memories brought warmth to her heart, but also a sharp ache of longing. She missed their adventures, their late-night talks, and the way they could share everything without hesitation. With a sigh, Sarah put her phone away and looked up at the sky. She wanted to reach out to Jake in a way that felt more meaningful than just messages and video calls. How could she show him that their friendship was special and that she valued him, despite the miles between them? Suddenly, an idea sparked in her mind. What if she organized a virtual event where they could invite some of their mutual friends? They could all come together, play games, and share stories, just like they used to do. It would be a way to reinforce their connections, not just for her and Jake, but for everyone who missed those moments. Excited by her plan, Sarah rushed home and started brainstorming. She created a list of their friends, thinking about who would be interested in joining. She wanted it to be a surprise for Jake, something that would remind him of their bond. As she worked, hope surged within her. This could be the perfect way to reconnect with Jake and make everyone feel closer, even if they were far apart. After a few days of planning, Sarah sent out invitations to their friends, explaining the idea behind the virtual event. She scheduled it for a Saturday evening, giving everyone time to prepare. She decorated her room with lights and set up her laptop so it would feel festive and fun. The day of the event arrived, and Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She hoped that everything would go smoothly and that Jake would appreciate the effort she had put into it. As the clock ticked closer to the start time, she took a deep breath and reminded herself that this was about celebrating their friendship. When the event began, Sarah logged into the video call and saw familiar faces pop up on the screen. Everyone greeted each other with enthusiasm, and Sarah felt her heart swell with happiness. Soon after, Jake joined the call, and his face lit up when he saw the decorations. "Wow, Sarah, this looks amazing," he exclaimed, smiling widely. "I can't believe you organized all this." "I wanted us to feel connected, even from far away," she replied, her heart racing with joy. "I thought we could play some games and just hang out like old times." As the evening unfolded, laughter fell. The summer days slowly turned into autumn, and with each passing week, Sarah felt the bittersweet pull of change. The leaves outside her window transformed into vibrant hues of orange and gold, but within her heart, a sense of longing remained. Jake was still far away, and while their virtual hangouts and journal entries kept their friendship alive, the physical distance still weighed heavily on her. Every time she picked up her phone, Sarah felt a mix of hope and anxiety. She wanted to reach out to Jake more, to share her everyday moments, but she often hesitated. She worried that he was too busy with his new life, making new friends. Would he still want to hear about her day? Would he still find joy in their shared memories? One rainy afternoon, as she sat curled up on her couch, Sarah decided to take a look at their journal. She flipped through the pages, reading their entries filled with laughter and dreams. The words jumped out at her, reminding her of the strength of their bond. Inspired, she decided to write a letter to Jake, one that expressed her feelings more deeply than their usual messages. "Dear Jake," she began, her pen moving slowly across the paper. "I hope this letter finds you well. I've been thinking a lot about us and how much I miss you. I know we've been doing well with our journal and video calls, but I want you to know that I miss you more than words can say." As she wrote, She poured out her heart. She told him about her days at school, her struggles with feeling lonely, and how she often wished he were there to share those moments. She shared her fears about their friendship fading and how much it meant to her to have him in her life. Feel like we're creating a story together, but sometimes I worry that the distance is making it hard to keep the chapters flowing, she wrote, pausing to wipe away a tear. I want to find ways to stay close, to keep our friendship strong, no matter where we are. Once she finished the letter, Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her. Writing it had helped her express feelings she had kept bottled up inside. She sealed it in an envelope, adding a small drawing of the two of them under a tree, smiling and laughing. It was a symbol of their friendship, a reminder of the joy they shared. The next day, she rushed to the post office, excitement bubbling within her. She could hardly wait for Jake to receive her letter. It felt like a bridge connecting their hearts, something tangible that would remind him of their bond. As the days passed, Sarah kept checking the mailbox, her heart racing with anticipation. Finally, a week later, she received a message from Jake. Hey, I got your letter. It made my day. Can we video call later? I want to talk about it. That evening, Sarah settled in front of her laptop, her heart pounding with nervousness. When the call connected, Jake's face appeared on the screen, bright and cheerful. Hey, Sarah, I loved your letter. It was so nice to hear everything you're feeling. Thanks. I wanted to be honest with you, she replied, feeling a mix of relief and gratitude. I really miss you. It's hard sometimes. I miss you too, Jake said, his expression serious. I've been feeling a little lost here. Even though I'm making new friends, it's not the same. I think about our adventures all the time. Sarah's heart lifted at his words. I'm glad. I'm not the only one feeling this way. I want to keep our friendship strong, no matter what. Absolutely, Jake exclaimed. Let's come up with some ideas to keep in touch more often. We can do virtual game nights, movie nights, or even start a new project together. As they brainstormed ideas, Sarah felt a surge of hope. They talked about creating a shared playlist of their favorite songs, a way to share music and memories. They also discussed starting a video blog where they could document their lives and adventures, even from afar. The possibilities felt endless. Let's make a schedule so we can stay organized, Jake suggested, his eyes shining with excitement. We can have regular hangouts and make sure we're both involved in each other's lives. I love that idea, Sarah replied, her enthusiasm matching his. It'll feel like we're still together, even if we're not in the same place. As they continued to talk, Sarah felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. They shared laughter and ideas, and she realized that their friendship was not only surviving but thriving. The distance, while challenging, had pushed them to be more creative and intentional about staying connected. As the weeks rolled on, Sarah and Jake followed through with their plans. They scheduled weekly video calls, filled with laughter and stories. They created their shared playlist, adding songs that reminded them of their favorite moments together. The video blog became a fun project where they documented their daily lives, shared challenges, and celebrated small victories. Evening, while working on the blog, Sarah received a message from Jake. Hey, I've been thinking. How about we plan a special virtual event? We can invite our friends and share our video blog with them. Sarah's eyes lit up. That sounds amazing. We can do a live Q&A and share stories from our journal. It'll be a great way to celebrate our friendship. They began preparing for the event, excited to share their journey. As they worked together, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of joy. Their friendship had evolved, and they were both making an effort to keep the connection alive. On the day of the event, Sarah felt a mix of nerves and excitement. They had decorated their screens and prepared a fun presentation. As friends joined, The call, she felt a wave of warmth wash over her. Jake greeted everyone with enthusiasm, and together they shared stories from their blog, laughed, and played games. Throughout the evening, Sarah realized that their friendship had not only endured, but had also grown stronger in ways she never expected. The distance that once felt like a barrier had become a catalyst for creativity and connection. As the event came to a close, Sarah looked at Jake and smiled. "I feel like we've created something really special together." "Me too," he replied, his eyes shining. "Take shelter in me, human. No matter where we are, we're always in this together." That night, as Sarah lay in bed, she reflected on how far they had come. She felt grateful for the challenges they had faced and the ways they had adapted. The distance had not diminished their bond. It had strengthened it, reminding her that true friendship knows no boundaries. With a heart full of hope, she closed her eyes, dreaming of the adventures yet to come. She knew that with Jake by her side, even from afar, they could conquer anything. Together, they would continue to write their story, one filled with laughter, love, and the promise of many more chapters to come. Asterisk as the cool winds of late autumn blew through the trees, Sarah felt a mix of emotions swirling within her. The leaves had fallen, leaving branches bare, and with winter approaching, the world outside her window seemed to reflect her feelings, cold and distant. Despite the vibrant connections she had built with Jake through their shared projects, the physical distance still weighed heavily on her heart. The video calls, messages, and their blog had helped, but Sarah often found herself longing for his presence. She missed the comfort of having him nearby, the spontaneous laughter, and the moments of silence that felt so full when they were together. As the holidays approached, the feeling of loneliness deepened. Everyone around her was busy with their families, decorating for the season and making plans. Meanwhile, she felt slightly adrift. One evening, as Sarah decorated her room with twinkling lights, she decided she needed to do something special for Jake. She wanted to remind him of their friendship, to show him that no matter how far apart they were, he was still a vital part of her life. An idea began to form in her mind, a surprise holiday care package. She thought about what Jake would love. He had always enjoyed the little things, like homemade treats and personal touches. With determination, Sarah made a list of items to include. She would bake his favorite cookies, write him a heartfelt letter, and add some small gifts that would remind him of their shared memories. Over the next few days, Sarah busied herself in the kitchen, baking batches of cookies. The sweet smell filled her home, and with each cookie she baked, she felt a sense of purpose. She carefully packed everything into a box: the cookies, a small drawing she had made of the two of them, and a new book she thought he would enjoy. She also included their latest journal entry, which was full of their hopes and dreams for the future. Once the package was ready, Sarah rushed to the post office, excitement bubbling inside her. She couldn't wait for Jake to receive it. As she handed the box over to the clerk, she imagined his reaction. Would he smile? Would he feel the love she poured into each item? A week later, Sarah received a message from Jake. "Hey, I got your package today. I can't believe you baked cookies. You're the best." Her heart soared at his enthusiasm. "I'm so glad you liked it. It was fun to make. I wanted to remind you that I'm thinking about you. That means a lot to me, Sarah. I've been feeling a little down lately. It's hard being away from home, especially during the holidays," Jake replied. "I understand." "I miss you a lot too," she said, her heart aching. "But we'll get through this together. We just need to keep finding ways to connect." "Let's do something special for the holidays," Jake suggested. "How about a virtual holiday celebration? We can invite our friends, play games, and share stories. We could even do a gift exchange." Sarah's eyes lit up.